Lacrosse tonight on our primetime show tonight. Tim O'Shea with 2 goals, Tim Goettleman with a goal, Todd Vizcorrondo with a goal, and Shindler with a goal. 5 for Loyola. Hopkins goals from Dylan Schlott and Dan Denahan. 5-2 our score, 4:57 left in the first half.
Well, there's some talent on the field. You just saw last year's first team All-Americans. I'm sure there'll be more this year, but a lot of players, local players that are in this ball game. A lot of former high school teammates in this ball game. Jimmy Brown played for Jim Moorhead down at St. Mary's. Teammate Todd Vizcorrondo.
Well, guys, we're nearing almost 4 quarters now where Loyola has only given up 2 goals. They shut out Hofstra the last 2 quarters, and I guess the offense gets part of the credit for doing the job on their end, right?
Absolutely. Team game, but when you have obviously both parts of this team, you know, offense and defense clicking like they are, tough to beat.
Vizcorrondo fires off the mark.
Loyola does not give you much transition. It's very difficult. You don't get many fast breaks or easy baskets against them, and they didn't make many mistakes so far this game. They're just playing a solid defense.
Is that the credit to their midfield too?
Their midfield does a good job getting back from offense to defense, and they're well coached right now, and their goalie's hot.
Vizcorrondo fires and scores.
Yeah, Scott, you got to step. As you see John Haas, you got to step on Paul Lasor, the short stick midfielder, and he took advantage of it. Todd Vizcorrondo, number 27. Again, he'll get it. He'll get a step, Quint, on Paul Lasor, who goes for the check, doesn't get it.
Watch the jump shot, straight overhand to the far pipe. Carcaterra probably thought this one was going wide. Here it is again, a little jump shot. The senior from St. Mary's, just a bounce shot, beating Carcaterra low. It's really one of the first shots we've seen go in low. Most of the shots tonight have been high. Loyola now up by 4.
And even though it looks like Loyola is dominating now with the 6-2 lead, remember Hopkins was down 9-3 against the defending 3-time national champion Princeton Tigers last week.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
We got a lot of, we saw it last week in the Maryland Duke game too. These things can change in a hurry in this game.
Absolutely, and they start on the face-off, and that time number 11, John Driscoll, got the face-off.
Pass behind the goal, and Hopkins sloppy, can't handle it. Denahan has a trickle out of play and back to the Greyhounds.
Loyola is tough because of tempo. They control the ball on offense. They wear you down. They break you down. Then when you get the ball and you're trailing by a bunch of goals, you feel the need to rush. And then you make some unforced errors like that last pass right there by O'Kelly.
Get you out of your rhythm, right?
Exactly.
Mike Battista for the Greyhounds. Behind the goal, Goettleman. Keith Mills making his way down to the field. We'll be hearing from both coaches during our halftime break. This is Vizcorrondo's already scored 2 goals. Draws a crowd, gets double teamed. He gets some mileage on him, Quint. He's sideline to sideline. Goettleman working behind the goal. Good defense from Hopkins. Paleologus.
There's not a weak link in this bunch. These are the top 6. I think this offensive unit right here is the best in the country. These top 6 players. There's not a weak link. They all can score. They all can handle the ball. If they get up by a bunch of goals, Loyola is going to have an excellent 4 corners offense.
Well, Dave Cottle, I guess his thinking right here is, let's not rush, guys. Things are going our way. Worst thing that could happen, maybe a 6-2 halftime lead. There's a pass in front. Unable to get the shot off. Greyhounds Vizcorrondo. And now Hopkins controls. Rob Dorr.
Andy, no foul. Tommy, no foul there.
Near side, that's Paul Lasor. You see the no goal patrol on for Loyola. Hopkins has gone nearly 14 minutes without scoring, and on only 2 minutes left in the half. Denahan trying to sneak in. Back out on top, Hogan. A.J. Hogan. Looks like he's having trouble with the footing. I don't know if it's the knee or just slipping out there. That's a couple times he slipped down. Carcaterra. Penalty marker down. And it looks like Loyola's going to be short.
David Metz, the sophomore from West Genesee High School in Syracuse, number 43 for Loyola right there. In his one-on-one battle, you'll see Dan Denahan Drive left-handed, right there. He gets him with a cross check to the head.
Ouch.
Again, great camera angle, great camera work right there to the neck. A cross check. That'll be what's called a cross check hold. Should be a 30-second violation. Hopkins with the extra man.
So with the extra man and 1:31 left in the half, Blue Jays really psychologically need a goal here, I guess.
Certainly in need of a goal. Hopkins with one extra man goal. Dan Denahan scored on a feed from Saul Koeman. The keys of this unit, look for A.J. Hogan, number 12 from the outside, or Dylan Schlott, number 8. He'll be parked in front of the goal.
30-second penalty. So not a lot of time for the Blue Jays to try to take advantage. Matt O'Kelly. Near side. Good defense there as they jump all over. Hopkins and Loyola's up with it. Brown trying to get it upfield. It's out of play. 56 seconds left in the half.
Team's back to even strength. Loyola has 6 defenders on. Nice job by the defense. Chris Melvin, number 2, came in, made a good play against Saul Koeman to the near side, and Loyola survives that extra man by limiting Hopkins to 0 shots on that opportunity.
So Hopkins will have to do it against a full-strength defense now. Denahan behind the goal. Done a good job with Schlott since he scored that initial goal quick. Haven't been able to find him.
Denahan called for warding off. It's when an offensive player uses their free hand as a stiff arm or to shield the defensive stick.
And now let's see, Loyola just wants to spread it out, take one more run at a score here. Mark Frye with it. See the time left in the half, down to 20 seconds. Mike Battista. He's got some moves. He can dodge out there. Gets the double team, gives it up. Behind the goal, in front, and a score from Tim Goettleman. Goettleman waited, showed good patience, found his opening, and put it away.
Goettleman with great size. He's 6'2", 190. 9 goals last season. He had 1 versus Hofstra, the junior. Watch this. He takes the ball behind and realizes that there's a seam in the defense, puts his head down, protects his stick so well, and then has the poise and patience and beats Carcaterra from close range. You see right there, Paleologus goes for that over-the-head check.
That's what I was going to say.
Defensively, right in this situation, you want to take the body if you can. If you have the angle, you really want to go body on body. He went for the takeaway check, and Goettleman has the poise to put it past Carcaterra. Big goal, 7-2.
2 goals for Goettleman, 2 goals for O'Shea, and 2 goals for Vizcorrondo. 6 of the 7 right there for Loyola, and they've got a 7-2 lead. Clock shows zeros. No time left. Still haven't heard a whistle. And now Dave Cottle pointing up at the scoreboard saying, hey, I think the half's over, guys. Nothing but zeros on the board. Now the official comes over to the near side bench. Official right down in front.
Keith is down there sorting things out. I'm sure
they've got a 4 on the scoreboard now, so apparently 4 seconds left. May have been a timeout call.
Yeah, Hopkins called timeout with 4 seconds to go. They'll have the ball at the midfield line, and what I would think they would do is throw the ball in the direction of the goal. They'll try to screen Loyola's goalie, much like hockey, an outside shot here. You just want to put a lot of interference in front of the goal and look for the outside shot.
Well, it was a 3-2 game at the end of the first quarter, and Loyola's outscored 4-0 in this quarter.
Great shooting by Loyola tonight. We have not seen them miss the goal very much. They have put quality shots on Carcaterra, who's the best goalie in the country, and they've scored 7 goals, so they've been very precise. Last week against Hofstra, they struggled. They had 51 shots and only 10 goals. Tonight, I'd have to say they have about 15 shots and 7 goals. Excellent ratio.
You're a 2-time All-American goalie, but All-American or no All-American, Carcaterra is a great one, but if you get where Goettleman position he had, you can't stop him.
No, that's like a layup from Michael Jordan coming in for a layup or a dunk. There's nothing you can do about that one as a goalie. The shots that really hurt are the O'Shea shots from about earlier. 10 or 12 yards, because those are just absolute lasers. And defensively, you've got to get on his hands and in his face when he takes that outside shot.
So 4 seconds left in the half. fire from half field, out of play. Matt O'Kelly let one rip. Now we're showing zeros, and I think that is the end of the first half. So color the first half green, Quint. 7-2 Loyola.
Impressive on both ends of the field. Loyola playing solid defense. Jimmy Brown sharp in the cage, and their offense certainly very unselfish, and we've seen some firepower from Vizcorrondo, Goettleman, and O'Shea.
7-2 Loyola on top. Keith Mills down on the field with Dave Cottle. Keith?
Yeah, very intense, Dave Cottle. Dave, when you came over here, did you think you'd be walking off the half up 5 goals?
Well, we think we're a pretty good team. We thought we were going to play an excellent game tonight, and we hoped that it would work out that way, but you never know how games are played. Our goalie hung in there. We got rocked a little bit early, but our kids are tough, and I'll tell you what, we've been in a lot of lacrosse games with this group of players, and we're going to be good today.
You guys did a great job, I thought, of really snuffing out their emotion, matching that emotion, and really taking control of the game. How important was that?
Well, if we didn't bring emotion to this game, then we're half comatose. We can't worry about Hopkins' emotion. Loyola College came ready to play tonight, and they're going to be ready to play for 60 minutes.
Okay, Dave Cottle, head coach at Loyola, in his 17th year, his team up 7-2. What a not a real surprise, but a surprise in the spread right now that it's 7-2. We'll be back with the halftime festivities here from Homewood Field. Stay with us. Loyola leads 7-2.
Two Sports Lacrosse Game of the Week, brought to you by Lombard Securities, Baltimore's source for independent financial advice, where promises made are promises kept.
If you love lacrosse, get ready. Two Sports has the hot action. The nation's top college lacrosse teams clash in fierce competition in the Lacrosse Game of the Week. The award-winning Two Sports team, plus All-American Quint Casanich, bring you exciting live coverage and inside stories. Sunday, the Maryland Terrapins take on Towson's Tigers in a battle for the best. Be there for the Lacrosse Game of the Week, Sunday at 1, only on ABC2 Baltimore.
Critics everywhere are getting to know The King and I. It's a timeless treasure that's great fun. A wonderful musical adventure. A grand time for your kids. At long last, A King and I for the whole family. You'll love every moment. The King and I, etc., etc., etc. Rated G. Starts Friday, March 19th in a theater near you.
With AT&T Digital One Rate, this isn't just any phone. It's my Hey Rob, how's the powder in Utah phone? My I'll take red, no make that teal phone. My how are you doing in college phone. My can you deliver the piano on Tuesday phone. My Casey scored a gold phone.
The world of wireless has changed. AT&T Digital One Rate. No roaming or long distance charges across all 50 states. And with rates so low, AT&T can make your wireless phone your only phone.
Welcome back to Homewood Field. Loyola outscored Hopkins 4-0 in the second quarter. They lead at the half 7-2. Right now, Rick White takes a closer look at the Blue Jays, the tradition, and the fact that they came into this game ranked #1.
When you think of Hopkins and you think of sports, well, you think of lacrosse. And playing lacrosse at Hopkins, there's always that pressure to be #1. But hey, they can handle it.
When you start with Hopkins, you start with preseason Player of the Year, Brian Carcaterra, who knows what it takes to be a good goalie.
Several key factors factor into being a good goalie. I think a little bit of courage, a lot of insanity, I think, at sometimes too. You have to take control, be a leader at all times, and keep your composure.
But what makes this team tick is they have some good athletes.
I think we're a very athletic, very talented team. We got people that can play all positions. We're strong in every area, and I think we're going to be exciting to watch.
And the person watching Hopkins this year will be new head coach John Hawes.
I spent 7 years here as an assistant coach and worked under 2 outstanding head lacrosse coaches, and now I've got the opportunity to come back. So I'm pretty familiar with the university, the program, what's expected of us, so it's been a real smooth transition. And I think not only that, but the group that I inherited, it's a great group of players, They work extremely hard, and they want to be successful.
And success is what they expect at Hopkins.
I'd like to see us go all the way. It's been a long time, and I think we're due.
All right, the first half has gone to the Dogs as far as Hopkins is concerned. Loyola on top 7-2. We'll return to Homewood Field right after this.
TV's hottest judge is moving to a new time.
Is that right?
That's right. That sharp wit, irresistible charm.
That once fit you.
And power to lay down the law.
You must stop.
It's not the same day.
Just a moment.
It's all at a new time.
What you're telling me is that
We're telling you the king of the courtroom is moving to the afternoon. People's Court, weekdays at 4, starting Monday on ABC2.
Hi, I'm Autumn Owens, and here are a few things I like about my Saturn. It's got wide, grippy tires, and the exhaust is made out of stainless steel. The panels are dent-resistant. And I guess you could say I was lucky, because it wasn't that serious when I flipped my car a couple months back. But I still like the steel space frame and reinforced safety cage. A lot. I still can't believe I got hit.
Well, you see, Georgetown Lacrosse, Quentin will be there a week from Sunday. The Hoyas and UMBC, and Georgetown, a program on the rise, right?
Two top 10 programs, both were in the playoffs. In fact, they played each other in the playoffs last year. Georgetown won by a goal, but UMBC, Georgetown will have that game on a Sunday afternoon. Should be a top battle, really a playoff caliber match.
And of course, this Sunday, we're back with our game of the week at 1 o'clock as Maryland goes at it against Towson. Thought that game might be moved, but it will be played at Minnigan Stadium. Let's take a look at some first half highlights in this one. Not too many highlights for Hopkins, but they scored the first goal of the game, Quint.
Dylan Schlott, his 6th goal this season. Really, it's the only time this game he's touched the ball. And Hopkins led 1-0 on the assist from Dan Dennehan. Then early stages of the second quarter, Timmy O'Shea will take the feed from Mark Frye, number 11 right there, and he just lasers a cannon past Carcaterra. Loyola led 4-2. They scored 4 unanswered goals in the second quarter, ending with this. This is Tim Goettleman with less than a minute to go in the second quarter. He makes it 7-2 Loyola. They scored 4 in a row. They lead by 5.
Well, they were down 9-3 last week at Princeton, and I got to think that John Haas and some of the Blue Jays are reminding one another that, hey, we did it last week. Let's go at them hard and see if we can do it again.
Take a look at the halftime stats. Loyola very effective, 19 shots with 7 goals. Hopkins 12 shots and only 2 goals. Otherwise, the stats are even. The surprise, I think, is the faceoffs. Loyola winning 7 of 11, Hopkins only 4 of 11, where last week, really, that was one of the key factors why Hopkins beat Princeton, because Eric Whedon won about 70% of the faceoffs.
So faceoffs always key, and I guess early third quarter going to be key for Hopkins, because they have to do something quick to put a spark into that team.
They do. Loyola is controlling this game by winning faceoffs, by making saves. They're controlling the tempo, and Hopkins, in that late stages of the second quarter, they were making a lot of unforced errors on offense and a lot of foolish turnovers. They've got to get back to the basics, play smarter defense. They can't make mistakes. Loyola is too good offensively to make those little mistakes. They capitalize.
Quentin, what about Sunday? We get a chance to see Tony Seaman and his Towson Tigers. We saw Maryland last Sunday. How do you see that matchup?
It should be a fairly good game. Towson's fired up. And as you see the halftime stats here, Dennehan for Hopkins with 1-1, and O'Shea really, Goettleman and Vizcorrondo with Shindler. Those guys, the balance is what's so impressive, I think, about Loyola. But getting back to that Towson-Maryland game, Towson will be fired up to play. Maryland against Duke, really tough loss for them. I think they controlled about 60 or 70% of that game. So it should be a good battle. The weather could be a factor up in Minnigan Stadium. Should be a tough March game, though.
And we expect some nasty weather on Sunday, so weather really could be a factor. Coach John Haas making his way back out on the field, and we'll check in with Keith in just a minute to hear from John Haas making his Hopkins Homewood debut here tonight. Picked up a victory at Princeton last week, but this is home debut, and so far the first half, not one he's too excited about, but we'll hear from head coach John Haas now as we go down to Keith Mills down on the field. Keith?
Yeah, Scotty, with me is Hopkins head coach John Haas. John, what do you tell your team at the half, down 5?
Well,
very disappointed in our effort in the first half, and I take responsibility for that. Offensively, we're just playing way too selfish. We need to give the ball up and move it, and defensively, we're out of control right now. We've got to break down, challenge them once they get inside the box, but we're spreading out, we're going over the head, we're making mistakes that we just can't make against a great team like Loyola.
But you came back last week down 9-3. Yeah, you're looking maybe to find a spark early and build on that?
Well, we're not concerned with last week. We're concerned with tonight, and hopefully we'll put the third and fourth quarters together and play better lacrosse.
Okay, Johnny, thank you. John Haas, head coach at Johns Hopkins. Stay with us. His Blue Jays are down 7-2. We'll have the second half when we come back to Homewood Field.
Two Sports Lacrosse Game of the Week, brought to you by Lombard Securities, Baltimore's source for independent financial advice, where promises made are promises kept.
Who said less is more?
More is more.
You get more for the money. Get more savings every day. More for it, honey. It's just 99 cents for a double cheeseburger or a Cajun McChicken sandwich every day. Add medium fries, and it's just $1.99. Hey, what more could you ask for?
Ready to leave the house and hit the road? Get 0.9% financing for 48 months or $1,000 cash back on WinStar during your local Ford dealer's breakout sales event. WinStar's the only vehicle to ever receive a quadruple 5-star government crash test rating. Not even Caravan or Odyssey can make that claim. And now with 0.9 financing or $1,000 cash back, there's never been a better time to drive home a new WinStar. See your local Ford dealer today during the breakout sales event. Now break!
The ultimate thirst-eliminating soda is here. Curiously crisp Citra. No thirst is safe.
Scott Garceau, Keith Mills, and Quinn Kessenich with you, Homewood Field. Loyola leads Hopkins 7-2 at halftime. Quinn, I thought it was interesting, the two coaches, Dave Cottle really had his game face on and said, we came to play. Over on the other side, John Haas, the head hanging just a little bit, saying, we got to do better than this.
I have never heard Dave Cottle so confident and so fired up at a game. Usually he'd be saying, yeah, this, that. We didn't play so well, sandbagging it a bit. But he is very confident in this group, Dave Cottle. And I'm just impressed with the amount of intensity and the positive attitude that he had about this team.
Loyola controls the, and a big hit and another hit. And I think Hopkins is coming out rather intense.
That's going to be a loose ball hold against Hopkins. That's as violent as a loose ball hold as you'll get without going in the penalty box.
Down on the field last week against.
There you go.
Yeah, we weren't down on the field last week because we were so high up, but down on the field, it is as intense as any college game I've seen. It is brutally physical, and right now Loyola is just taking it to Hopkins. And Quentin, unless they step it up, it's going to be a long night for the Blue Jays. I think John Haas made that point real clear at the half.
Pass in front, try to get it to Shindler. Out of bounds, and it'll go to Hopkins.
The points he made, I thought Haas made that were specific, we have to keep our eye on. He talked about making mistakes defensively, because when they have made mistakes, Loyola has capitalized. And he talked about being over-aggressive and making foolish plays. We've seen a couple checks that really shouldn't have been made that have resulted in Loyola goals. And that's all it takes at this level with a team as precise as Loyola. You make a little mistake, boom, ball's in the back of the net.
I asked assistant coach Brian Volker before the game, what did John Haas say at halftime last week to turn it around? He said he didn't say much. He just said, hey, fellas, let's just think about what we're doing and let's get everyone involved. He didn't rant, he didn't rave, he didn't make any big halftime speech. He said, let's just play better.
They did.
And they did. But he needs, as you said, needs to get A.J. Hoban and some of these other high-powered offensive players into the attack.
Matt O'Kelly went down low, but the Greyhounds up to that challenge.
A nice run from Timmy O'Hara right there.
Now it's loose. In on goal, a shot from O'Shea, wide left.
Nice feed by Quinn, number 21. Kevin Quinn took the loose ball from O'Hara and found O'Shea. Watch the angle play here involved. O'Shea doesn't have a great angle. Carcaterra waits on the pipe and reacts at the last moment. He was on that.
I think Timmy wish he would have had that one back.
Timmy, I am surprised that Timmy didn't give him a fake and then shoot it, or work towards the middle of the field. You really want to work towards the middle to improve your angle.
And he had some time. He was pretty much uncontested.
This is Todd Vizcorrondo, 2 goals in the first half for him.
He is, to his defense, he is a right-handed player, and his left hand is his weak shooting hand.
Vizcorrondo gets clear and bounces it in. That's the hat trick for Todd Vizcorrondo as he cleared the defense and bounced it past a disappointed Brian Carcaterra.
Yes, Scotty, and he beat Robbie Dorr, one of the best in the business.
Vizcorrondo, the senior from St. Mary's in Annapolis, last year had a huge game up in the Carrier Dome against Syracuse with 8 points. And look at the bounce shot right under the pipe. Carcaterra comes off the inside pipe there. You want to stay on the near pipe, but there's no help defensively. Shook and Testa are late to slide there. They're late to help out. You cannot let a guy like Todd Vizcorrondo wander through the heart of the defense.
Looked like Testa screened him off the shot to boot. Didn't help and also screened him off.
That, I'll tell you guys, that one, Dave Cottle had to love that goal, because you want to make a statement early when you got a lead, and they came out and got the first one. There's a shot wide from Matt O'Kelly.
Looks like O'Kelly trying to take things into his own hands, but again, John Haas again said at the half, we're a little too selfish. We got to start distributing the ball a little bit, a lot like what Loyola's doing. See Timmy O'Hara from Loyola High School. But what a solid job they've done on defense.
Now this is number 1 Hopkins getting a lesson right now from number 4 Loyola in their own house. 8-2, Greyhounds on top.
Which has been, I don't think Quinn has Loyola ever won a game here. I don't think they have.
Well, they're only, two for
34-2 in the series record.
And their win came last year at Evergreen.
That's right, and then a couple years back in the rain at Loyola. There's going to be a foul against Loyola. Dylan Schlott taken down. You'll see him get slashed on the knee, a la Tanya Harding right there.
Tanya Harding.
Schlott goes down.
David Metz delivers the chop. Tanya Harding. Whoa.
1 minute foul. Good chance for Hopkins to get back in this ballgame. They need to generate some offense, and the extra man certainly is a great place to start.
Number 35, Mike Stromberg from Mount Hebron. His teammate Kyle Campbell. Mike's a sophomore. Campbell a freshman. 2 guys from Howard County.
So Hopkins down 6, trying to make something happen here. Early third quarter. 12:20 to play in the quarter. Hopkins scored the game's first goal, and Loyola has dominated since.
And we should note, Scott, that there haven't been too many freshmen play tonight. Gunnar Goettleman, one of the few so far, but the freshmen for Hopkins are Tony Siemens recruits. John Haas really yet to put his own stamp on a recruiting aspect, and we'll see that next year. But I'm sure John, who did a great job bringing players in at Washington College, will do the same.
You hear all the communication down on the field from the sidelines. Quick shot to score. Matt O'Kelly set up in the slot and fire that in a hurry.
O'Kelly's first goal this season. He had 1 assist against Princeton. The quick release here is amazing. O'Kelly has great wrists, much like a hockey player inside, just with that quick snapshot. Watch how long this ball is in his stick. It's in his stick for about a fraction of a second. You'll see him parked in front of the goal, catches it, releases it past the goalie. Quick release, excellent accuracy. He knew where the goal was without even looking. He turns and finds the spot.
Yeah, great scorer's instinct right there. As you said, knew where he was on the field. Really no chance that time for Jimmy Brown.
So that breaks a pretty dry spell for Hopkins. And here comes Loyola in a hurry. Goettleman parked in front. Shot is stopped. Oh boy, point blank range.
Carcaterra learned from the earlier goal and made the big save.
And here come the Blue Jays, and Carcaterra did this last week, Scotty. A couple of big saves, triggered the comeback.
And then he turned into an offensive player, setting up a goal.
What a sensational play. If you had a chance to see that game last week, great game.
Matt O'Kelly. Hopkins down 5, 8-3.
But this guy's still quiet. A.J. Hogan. Still, you see Mike Stromberg, the freshman on him here. Or the sophomore defender.
That ended a 5-goal run by Loyola. Last Hopkins goal. Dylan Schlott from Gilman trying to muscle his way in. 6'2", 210-pounder. Shot and a save. Nice save by Jim Brown.
Great job by Jimmy Brown.
Quentin, we heard Dave Cottle scream out flat four. Any idea what that is? Is that the offense that Hopkins tried to run right there?
Anytime Dylan Schlott gets the ball behind the cage, and he isolates against a short stick, there's certain calls defensively, whether they want to slide and help out defensively right away, or whether they want to wait for that. And they did a nice job.
Flat four basically means man-to-man, stay your man.
Yeah, it's or it's some kind of defensive set. I'm not sure what it is, but they have so many different sets at Loyola, it'll drive you crazy.
Got a defensive playbook the size of, the encyclopedia.
This is Peter Haas trying to work in.
They had no idea what to do.
Comes back to Horsey, and somebody didn't have any idea what to do. Bobby Horsey.
They just had no idea what to do, and then they get lucky there. Well, hey, we'll rotate the Tiger, play the middle spot with that.
Here's Horsey.
That's Billy Durgle talking to his defense right there, Scott. Billy Durgle, the offensive coach for
Horsey out front, and a shot and a rocket and the score. Peter Haas let one rip.
Yeah, geez, they come from everywhere. As Billy Durgle was telling his defense, this is what Hopkins is going to do. Loyola offense again ends the momentum for Hopkins.
9-3, a cannon by Haas on the assist from Horsey.
Yeah, Horsey really made that play, Quint. Good patience, and then found the open man.
Exactly. It didn't look like Haas was that open, but Haas last year was a defensive midfielder, one of the best ground ball players in the game. This year, he's a goal scorer.
9:45 left in the third. Loyola on top, 9-3. Here you see the goal again. The shot and the score from Peter Haas, the junior from Fairfax, Virginia.
In the frenzy of investing and trading, brokers sometimes lose track of what they say. Sometimes they imply results that aren't what you receive. And sometimes they don't deliver the depth of service you expect. Which is why you may want to consider a new kind of independent broker from Lombard Securities Incorporated, where promises that are made are promises that are kept.
Important notice. By order of the U.S. Bankruptcy Court, Levitt's Furniture is in bankruptcy. Survival. Levitt's is forced to close stores. Panic. Levitt's loss is your gain. Desperation. There is no tomorrow. Going out of business sale. Every living room, dining room, bedroom, mattress, oriental rug. Everything must go. Levitt's Furniture, Maryland and Virginia. Warning. When it's over, it's over. Survival. Panic. Desperation. Warning. Don't miss it.
Here's the goal, Bobby Horsey setting up his partner in crime, Peter Haas.
Peter Haas had 106 ground balls last year, 8 per game. He was second in the nation in ground balls. He loves to play in the wing of faceoff, but this year his role's changed. He's actually a player on the second midfield. He's asked to play on the wing of faceoffs, also go to the goal, make some things happen, and that second midfield unit can press me. Horsey's done a nice job. Kyle Campbell, the freshman, number 7 from Columbia area, has done a great job in Haas with that last goal.
And they're back on the field now as another infraction by Hopkins gives the ball back to Loyola.
Kyle Campbell with it. He's the freshman from Mount Hebron.
You know, Quentin, Loyola did a great job of, I said right before the break, of kind of curbing the momentum. Hopkins had it, had a goal, got the ball back, but boy, Loyola's so poised tonight.
And the Greyhounds dig that one out, the long stick of Joe Rodriguez. This is Horsey.
And even when they don't execute, the ball's bouncing their way. See Eric Whedon, number 3.
This is exactly the position that Hopkins was in last week. Down 9-3 when they pulled out that miracle comeback against Princeton.
Yeah, you know, and I had a chance to watch the game. I don't see Princeton being right now as poised and as disciplined and as just in control as Loyola.
Not even close. They have 2 great players, Josh Sims and Lawrence Smith from Gilman. Otherwise, they're all rookies for Princeton. This Loyola team we're looking at, they have a lot of veteran players. They're a bunch of juniors and seniors They've been through wars. They've won close games on the road.
And Horsey throws it in the side of the goal.
Good thought.
Saw the net move, but that wasn't in the back end. That was the side door. And a check and a loose ball, and Goettleman's up with it.
Boy, Goettleman is big and strong.
Bodies down everywhere.
This is that intensity, Scott, we're talking about.
And finally, whistle, stop play before somebody lost an arm or a leg.
And those are the little calls, the little ticky-tack pushing violations that have been going Loyola's way all night.
And that's coming from a Hopkins guy.
Well, Goettleman does a great job on this play.
Ooh,
First of all,
boy.
to dislodge the ball from Paleologos. Then he absolutely gets brutalized.
He ended up delivering the blow after he gets hit.
And there's a flag down. Oh, this time Mike Battista hit the deck. That drew a flag. Now another flag down. Pulling players away before.
It's the time of the game, Scott. I was going to say this a minute ago when maybe frustration sets in a little bit for Hopkins. It's, Mark Frye in the middle of it. It's just a battle between two proud warriors here.
That's going to be a cross-checking violation and an unsportsmanlike conduct, maybe on the bench. But the whole thing about this play is the Loyola player was dodging and slipped. Battista slipped, and the defender was going to check legally, and as it ends up, because the player slipped, he gets him up around the head. That's why the Hopkins bench went crazy. They didn't think that it was really a foul.
Yeah, good point. You see John Haas baiting the ref, or working the ref, I should say.
Maybe baiting him.
He's probably baiting. We talked all last year about the intensity of Tony Seaman on the sideline. Where you're seeing it tonight with Dave Cottle and John Haas.
Haas, the only person ever to win a national championship as a player and a coach. Won as a player at North Carolina in '81 and '82, and then won the Division III national title last year at Washington College.
Yeah. He can coach. There's no doubt about it, and he will do a good job here at Hopkins.
There's his counterpart tonight, Dave Cottle, getting the best of this one. His Hounds up 9-3, 7:39 left in the third quarter.
See the extra man numbers. Hopkins 2 for 3. Loyola looking for their first goal.
And this is a 6-on-4. Hopkins only has 4 defenders and a goalie on the field right now, so they're down 2 men.
6-on-4. Loyola played down 3 against Syracuse last year.
Yeah. And when
didn't give up a goal.
And when you're staring at a 9-3 deficit already, this is a crucial possession.
How do you defend when you're 2 down, Quint? Hold your breath, right?
Well, you get the rosary beads. That's a nice job right there. You get in a box. You'll see the defenders form a box in front of Carcaterra. They keep it tight. You want to keep about an 8-yard box and give the other team the outside shot and hope your first-team All-American goalie can come up with a save.
Vizcorrondo shot was deflected. Now they penetrate inside, and Goettleman just missed on a bouncer. No, check it at 16. That was David Fields.
Seeing his first action. Again, Kyle Campbell on the extra man offense. Dave Cottle playing some young guys tonight.
And a shot in the goal. There it is, Tim O'Shea. He now has 3 goals on the game. So Vizcorrondo and O'Shea both with the hat tricks for the Greyhounds as they extend the lead to 10-3.
And Scotty and Quint, what's amazing is that Mark Frye was their big go-to guy last year in terms of assists and goals, and he has barely done anything except that.
The assist right there.
Absolutely.
Frye with the seam pass, slicing through the defense, and O'Shea just with too much velocity right now. 3 goals, 3 cannons right there. Carcaterra late on it, but Frye with the assist, O'Shea with the extra man goal, and they capitalize on the fouls.
You don't have to be a heavyweight to generate a powerful shot. 160-pounder Tim O'Shea, but his shot ranks with the best of them.
He gets great body torque. He twists his whole body, and his wrists just snap through.
Not unlike a golfer, right?
Exactly. It would be like a
good hitter in baseball.
Right. Sure. Ian Woosman, who's one of the smallest players on the tour, but he generates all that whip and that power.
It comes from your hips and it comes from your wrists. And we were talking Mark Frye. I really like the kind of game Mark is playing. Just so he's letting the game come to him, as great players often do when they become seniors. And again, the ball bouncing Loyola's way into the stick of Peter Haas.
Green in control. Here come the Greyhounds on the run. A whistle and a timeout called. 6:26 left in the third quarter. Loyola leads Hopkins 10-3. We'll stay right here.
Scotty, you see Dave Cottle. You were talking as I came back about Dave. You never really heard Dave showing that kind of confidence. I agree with you. I was down the field right at the end of the half, and he was really in charge, really optimistic, really confident about his ball club. Why not? Boy, he's got some weapons and he's got some firepower.
I'd like to remind you, if lacrosse is your game, you get a chance to talk lacrosse on Lax Talk. That's on Saturdays from 10 to noon, 1570 a.m. Join Gordon Boone and our good friend Mark Dixon to talk lacrosse. Keith Mills, I want you talking lacrosse Saturday morning.
And by the way, tomorrow night live on 2 Sports at 7:30, we'll have the Thunder and Philadelphia Wings game from up in Philly. Big game for the
well, let's get a scouting report from
our partner.
From the man on the team.
Defensive specialist now. As you see Billy Durgo and Dave Cottle talking to his club. Big game tomorrow night. You can see it live on Channel 2.
The Philadelphia-Baltimore rivalry goes back. They beat Philadelphia beat the Baltimore Thunder last year in the finals and the championship, so they're the defending champs.
And what a hotbed for indoor lacrosse in Philadelphia, right?
They will sell that place out tomorrow night. There'll be 16,000 fans. We beat them early on this year in a very close game. They're hot right now. They've got their act together. We've struggled lately, so it's just going to be a battle. I can tell you that everyone's looking forward to the game, and it'll be exciting.
Well, make sure you get a good night's sleep, okay?
And we want to also say, Scott, Paul Cannabine, the assistant coach at Towson, one of the best players, one of the leading scorers on the Thunder. He'll be in that game. Make sure he gets back in one piece for Sunday's game. Tony needs it.
Loose ball, and Loyola controls. Frye came up with it. Inside to O'Shea. 10-3, Loyola on top, third quarter. Both teams won their openers. Hopkins ranked #1 in the coaches poll. This is Shindler.
And Scotty, Loyola right now, as Quint said earlier, looks at midseason form. They look really impressive, really sharp, and really poised. I'm really impressed with their poise tonight.
Vizcorrondo on the right wing to Shindler. Trying to muscle inside, gets double teamed. Gets it off, but Frye can't control. Not much in transition, as you mentioned earlier, Quint, for Hopkins. And again, Loyola in possession. Todd Vizcorrondo in charge, pointing out, firing, and it's saved. Carcaterra covers up. Couldn't find it for a second.
Brian not afraid to pull it out and run with it, Quint.
No, especially late in the game, he likes to ramble from the nets. If he catches the ball cleanly, that's when he'll break up field and look to run it himself. He's extremely quick.
It's been a quiet night for A.J. Hogan and most of the Blue Jays. Only 3 Hopkins goals, with 1 goal in almost 27.5 minutes.
It's amazing with the firepower that Hopkins has on offense. Dylan Schlott has yet to really, other than the first goal of the game, Quinn, really become a part of the offense.
It's not like they've missed a lot of shots. They just haven't had them.
Right. A.J. Hogan has been silent.
This is Matt O'Kelly. Back out in front. Connor Denahan. Defense there by Mike Battista. And Loyola up with it.
Joe Rodriguez, who's played a solid game with another nice clear.
Rodriguez going end to end.
He's one of the smaller defenders in college lacrosse at 5'11", showing his speed there.
O'Shea to Shindler. Up on top, Goettleman.
Nice job by Rodriguez to circle that ball around the cage. You can see his speed.
Is time a factor yet, Quint? 10-3 with 3:50 to go.
With this Loyola offense, defensively, Hopkins is going to have to come out and start to generate some turnovers and maybe try to get some transition goals.
As I said at the half, I'm not surprised that Loyola's in the lead, but I'm somewhat shocked that it's a 7-goal spread here late in the third quarter.
And Hopkins has 3 goals late in the third quarter, as you mentioned, with that firepower to pull them to 3.
Yeah.
Loyola trying to do something they've never done before, win at Hopkins and win 2 straight in the series. Shot by Horsey, saved.
Hopkins desperately needs some rhythm here. They desperately need some that, that we hear it all the time in sports, momentum. But
they just look tentative now,
they
too.
Look extremely tentative and just not playing with the confidence that you normally see. And again, you have to wonder, we've talked about this, A.J. Hogan has not done a thing tonight. Is it the injury? Is it the Loyola defense? Be interesting to hear his comments after the game. As the second team midfield now, and so A.J. Hogan and O'Kelly on the bench.
Instruction being yelled from the sidelines. Dan Denahan with it. Denahan can't shake the defense.
That's Dan Metz, who's done a real solid job. Haven't heard much from him in his career at Loyola, but he's played a solid game tonight, number 43 in green. That's from West Genesee, a teammate of Timmy O'Shea, or went to the same high school as Timmy O'Shea, just a sophomore.
There's Dylan Schlott, and he's knocked down. And
Great
the ball
job.
taken away by Loyola. Coming up with it, number 21, Kevin Quinn.
Kevin Quinn, 21, and this man right here, 23, Peter Haas, two of the best short stick midfielders in the country. And remember, this is a defensive unit that has to practice against this offensive unit. So these kids are going to get much better every day. They face perhaps the best unit in the country every day in practice. So they only can get better because
Absolutely. Absolutely. Very impressed with the defensive philosophy, defensive cohesion from Loyola.
Under 2 minutes left in the third quarter.
Nothing fancy on defense. They just don't make many mistakes.
Yeah, don't beat themselves. And half the time in sports, particularly in this game, you see, if you don't beat yourself with the quality of athletes that they have, you're going to win some games.
Rob Fraterola gives it up.
Excuse me, Scott, the number of quality athletes. Well, Mike Battista scored 4 goals last night, been quiet tonight, but hasn't made too much of a difference.
Paleologus tried to get it in front, and a penalty marker down. Tried to find Connor Denahan right over the middle. They didn't click, but a flag is down.
Yeah, you see Paleologus right there as Battista. I thought it was a great pass, Quinn. Looked in front, had a guy right in front of the crease, just missed the connection.
And it looks like we've got timeout on the field. 1:20 left in the third. Loyola 10, Hopkins 3. Back right after this.
Now at Popeyes, get a basket of crispy popcorn shrimp with Cajun fries, a buttermilk biscuit, and dipping sauce for only $2.99 for a limited time only.
The Heritage Winter Clearance is on. We're seriously overstocked with too many cars. Spring shipments are on the way. At Heritage, you'll need no down payment. Just sign and drive or make no monthly payments till June. Don't pay too much. Save at the Heritage Winter Clearance on now.
Nothing says morning like Dunkin' Donuts. Now get a new Omwich for just 99 cents when you buy a large cup of delicious Dunkin' Donuts coffee.
The greatest war films of the 20th century, this Sunday at 10 on Roderick's for Breakfast.
Minute 20 seconds left in the third quarter. Scott Garceau, Keith Mills, and Quinn Kasevich with you. There's some fans, they're not really that happy to see us. They're just trying to stay warm.
Trying to stay warm. You see the wind blowing around. You see John Haas, who is the 21st coach at Hopkins. Boy, there's been some good ones, huh? Bob Scott, Henry Ciccarone, who you played for. I'm Don Zimmerman, who you played for. Chick before you. Tony Seaman. Won a lot of games and a lot of championships. And I know everyone over here at Hopkins is excited. And I was getting ready to tell the story about Tony Seaman. It was ironic that Tony had recommended John Haas for the Towson job. And he was probably going to get the Towson job. Things happen over here where Tony is out of a job. John gets the job here. Tony gets the job at Hopkins or at Towson. There's a lot of mutual respect there between those two guys.
And there's a shot and a score. Mark Frye let one go.
And we've seen that a lot, Scotty. That hard missile left-handed shot from Frye, his first goal of the year, and his first goal against Hopkins in 2 years.
Frye's impressed us tonight with his unselfish game. But here, they just give him too much room. He steps up and he gets his full body behind it and just blasts one by Carcaterra. Again, Frye, normally a right-handed player, here with the left-handed cannon in the corner. We've seen most of the shots tonight up high, beating Carcaterra. Frye with an all-around game tonight. He's got ground balls, he's got some assists, and now you can see he can score goals.
Yeah, he's a complete player.
Playing like a captain. He's one of the captains for the Greyhounds.
And I'm sure he looked at this as the ultimate challenge with a guy like Hogan and O'Kelly on the other side. You know, I'm sure Frye and Vizcorrondo said, hey, let's prove tonight that we're the best. And so far they have.
See the time, under a minute left in the third quarter. And Hopkins has got a lot of work left if they're going to pull any kind of a miracle comeback in this one, because Loyola is dominating. And goals are hard to come by for the Blue Jays tonight. Only 3 on the board for Hopkins.
Quint, do you scrap the game plan now and just let, as A.J. Hogan looks like he's going to try to do some one-on-one work, or you still try to stay within the plan?
I think you got to get the ball to your stars, the guys like A.J. Hogan and Matt O'Kelly, and let them operate.
Stromberg really after Hogan on that last possession.
You know, I hate to mix sports, but anybody who watched the Indiana-George Washington game watched a tremendous defensive game plan with Shante Rogers, how Indiana swallowed him up. Looks like they're trying to do the same thing, Quint, with A.J. Hogan. Whenever he makes a move, there's 3 green shirts in his way.
4 seconds, have to shoot quick, and they score.